Hey guys, welcome back to the vlog. Today I'm just addressing some of the rust in the driver's side rear quarter panel, so where the gas cap was. In the previous videos you might have saw that there is a lot of rust around the fuel filler neck, and so basically around the whole gas cap is rotted and rusted, so my plan is to pull off the fuel filler neck and cut out as much rust as I can before I store it for the winter. So yesterday I worked on the Civic a lot, so I'm just going to show you some of the progress I made. Yesterday, for the first time, I pulled off the rear bumper just to see how much rust there was. The rust isn't too bad. I don't see like much on like the rear part or the underside. But where there is a lot of rust is on this rear bar here. So if I just kind of show you guys the inside, you can see it's pretty rusty all the way through, which is not really a big deal, I don't think. And then there's some rust on this bumper support, which seems to be able to be sanded. And then this driver's side taillight bracket thing here is rusted out, but it's like not a big deal to me. And then over on the passenger side, it's actually pretty clean. So I was saying last night I pulled off the fuel filler neck, and as you can see, I pulled it off, put a towel on top. The rear here, I tried to take the fuel filler neck off, but as you can see, the hose clamps that were there, they kind of rotted away, and I tried to take the hose off, but I couldn't, so I'm just gonna leave it like this, attached and hanging down. I also want to show you guys a little bit of the fuel tank. You can kind of see a peak here, but it is a little rusty, so I might look into replacing the fuel tank, since in the summer I'm planning to redo the brake lines. So like, this is the brake line the previous owner replaced, and you can see it looks like it's starting to corrode. So I'm going to replace it with some copper nickel brake line, and I'll probably want to pull off the OEM lines just to use it to mock up the line maybe, and just to get rid of it since it is no longer of use. The fuel tank looks kind of bad, but you know, still holds fuel and whatnot, so I'm just going to leave it since I'm only working on this car for another 2 weeks before storage. Before I start working on cutting the fuel cap area, I just want to show you guys the underside here. This appears to be like the rear frame rail is what I'm guessing it is. So you can see it is kind of rusty, and what I'm hoping is that it doesn't like rot through, because then that means the car is kind of bad. So I'm going to take a Dremel to this after I work on the quarter panel area. I don't know if it's a Canadian model thing, but there's a fuel tank cover, and I didn't know that the Civics had one because I didn't see it in other videos, but it might just be a Canadian thing. And then one last thing worth mentioning is that the gas tank straps look a little rusty, so I might have to, or I might want to replace those when I replace the gas tank, or if I replace the gas tank as well. This is the exhaust heat shield, the one that goes farther in the rear of the car. The one that goes further up, one of the 10mm bolts are seized on. I actually used this on a couple of these bolts because they're super rusty. Like this one, it was super rusty, so I had to use it, and this one. But the one near the resonator, it was too seized. I couldn't remove it, and as a result I stripped it, like the bolt remover. So I think I might just use a Dremel, maybe take it out with a screwdriver. But that's pretty much the reason why this gas tank cover is just hanging from the front, because I can't fully take it off without removing the other heat shield. So I'm just gonna leave it at that, work on the quarter panel. Once I cut out a decent amount of rust, I will just put everything back together, because this week I borrowed a temp plate from my workplace again. I actually drove it a lot last weekend, but because I drove it at night, I didn't do any recording. I want to record just like a short thing of how the car drives, but hopefully I get this all done and put back, or else I won't be able to do that video because it is my last week of work before I go back to school. So I don't want to keep asking for the template, especially because I won't be working anymore next week. So with the fuel filler neck off and lots of room to work here, I'm just gonna go ahead and record basically cutting what I think is worth cutting out, maybe like here and then here, and then like obviously try to cut out all of this so it'd just be a hole, and then I'll put back the fuel filler neck liner. We'll see where it goes from there. So before I start cutting, I want to show you guys what I'm using. I'm using this cheap Amazon rotary cutting tool, and I used it for a couple things on my car already. Seems to hold up fine, so I'll leave a link in the description below if anyone wants to give this a try. And then as for blades, I'm using the Dremel metal cutting discs because they seem to, I don't know, seem to be alright. Honestly, I would have bought a Dremel, but the Dremel wasn't on sale when I wanted it, and it also doesn't come with the extra like rotary, the long attachment for the same price. So basically I'm saving like 60 bucks and I'm using a rotary tool that, you know, is not branded, but you know, it gets the job done, so whatever works. 2 hours later, it's 4:15 right now. There's still some daylight, but I'm not ready to take the car out yet. But I just want to show you guys. I'm pretty much waiting for this to dry. I put a couple layers. As you can see, I did a pretty crappy job of applying the primer, but I think just for today it will hold up since it's not raining. So all the rest is cut out and the bare metal is covered for most part. These edges, I'll probably take a paintbrush and go over them later in the week. I'm just gonna throw this filler neck liner onto the car, and hopefully, since it's not raining, hopefully not too much dust will get on the paint. As you guys can obviously tell, it's not the best job ever. It'll do the trick for now because I might have to eventually replace the quarter panel anyway. And so even though it doesn't look the best, I'm not too worried. It's kind of like practice for me to cut into cars. Hopefully in the future, you know, if I start to do some body work, maybe wide body and stuff. So here's the repair. There's a bigger hole near the trunk side, so I'll probably put a towel there to prevent the wind from coming in too much. And then the little corner up here, there's also a gap, but I'll just leave that one. I picked up a new fuel filler door from the junkyard a couple of weeks ago, so I'm just using that one for now because the old one had rust on the bottom. And that is pretty much it for my temporary repair. I'm pretty happy with the repair so far. The amount of damage, the amount of rust was kind of what I expected after taking a better look at the car. I'm going to take this thing for a drive, and through here, the trunk, you can see the big hole that goes to the wheel well. So I'll just cover it with a towel for now. Luckily, it's not raining outside. So that's gonna be it for this video. Like I said, I'm gonna take it out for a drive now, so I wanna get the GoPro set up. So I'm gonna scramble to do that, and if you guys wanna check out some of the driving footage and see some of the mechanical issues or hear some of the mechanical issues with the car, then make sure you guys watch the next video. If anyone knows how to better fix the quarter panel, would appreciate it if you left a comment down below. But I think it seems like the only real way to do it is just to cut it out of another car and then weld it in. Anyway, I'm gonna get going, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.